this is a quick 5-minute video to show you the differences between the current model EVO 10, Lancer of course, and the EVO 9. Now, we're about to pass on our faithful EVO 9 to a new owner after having it for, what, 2.5 to 3 years. We've progressed quite well with our EVO 10 in the last few months, and this is a quick opportunity to point out the differences between the two models. So what you may be doing is trying to decide, do I buy a second-hand EVO 9 or a second-hand EVO 2, or possibly you might be still looking at a brand new one as well. Of course, you can't get brand new EVO 9s anymore. So come with me, we'll have a look, and I'll just show you first under the engine. Obviously, one of the big things that's changed in the EVO 10 is the bonnet catch, is how the engine is now completely turned around differently. And you'll notice it's obviously a twin cam Myvec engine, but what is the easiest way to describe is the turbo is now at the back, and at the front is the inlet manifold. And obviously basically the whole engine is different. It's a complete all alloy engine as opposed to the previous model, which had a cast iron block with an alloy head. The EVO 9 still had a Myvec head with variable inlet and exhaust camshafts, but the big step with this, other than the fact that the engine's turned around, is it's also got electronic throttle control. So I'll come over and I'll show you the engine on the EVO 9. Slightly modified, but nowhere near as modified as some other cars. You'll notice the inlet manifold is at the back, whereas on the EVO 10, that's where the turbo is. But of course, on this one, the turbo's at the front. Now, one thing that I will point out is you'll notice on this car, which has got our 40 kilowatt upgrade, the MRT Power XB kit, you'll notice we're still running a factory standard air intake. Well, we've found with this air intake, it will still flow enough horsepower for when you're chasing about 40 to 50 kilowatts more at the wheels. So if anybody tells you you need to replace the air intake on an EVO 9 to gain more horsepower, don't believe everything you hear or read on the internet. So, of course, this model doesn't come with HID lights. The EVO 10 comes factory standard with HID lights, and very, very good headlights, I may point out. The other thing you'll notice, the air intake is different on the EVO 10. Comes straight in through here, through the airbox, and directly down into the compressor housing at the back. Whereas on the EVO 9, it comes in through the airbox, around the air filter, and then up and around a different way to get into the inlet manifold, or obviously through the compressor first. Let's have a look at the inside of the car. Good old faithful EVO 9, very similar to the EVO 8 or even the EVO 8 MR, but one of the most noticeable differences, I drove this car just in the last couple of days because I'm going to miss it when we sell it, but 6-speed transmission as opposed to a 5-speed transmission in the EVO 10. The gear ratios in this car are, in our opinion, far better than the 5-speed transmission that comes in the EVO 10. Now, if you're getting the MR model, or one that comes with the SST semi-automatic electronic clutch manual transmission with the paddle shifts, it's got very similar ratios to the 6-speed SST semi-automatic compared to the 5-speed, but first gear on the 6-speed semi-automatic is much lower. So don't be misled into thinking that the 6-speed on the EVO 10 is as good as the 6-speed on this, because effectively it's not. It's nowhere near as good. When you get the car moving in the EVO 10, it is a lot better, but in our opinion, it's not really everything it's cracked up to be, and not as much a fun car. The dash, you'll notice obviously in the EVO 9, obviously very common around this era when this car was built, not much different to the EVO 8, and obviously a carryover from the EVO 7. The in-car dash here, obviously a lot easier to modify. If you're looking for a car to improve, it's got a double DIN stereo which you can quite easily remove and put 2 separate single DIN units in it. I'll show you on the EVO 10, unfortunately not as easy to do that. Everything else is pretty similar. The interesting thing though, you've got the auto mode and manual mode for the water spray control here, and I'll just point out, remember, if you want to use the water spray function on an EVO, you have to get the ECU upgraded using Ecutech software to change the settings so it will work in its auto mode. If you use the factory standard programming that comes with a factory standard ECU, you'll never get the inlet temperature hot enough to make the water spray come on in automatic mode, you'll only work in manual mode. So go to our website, there's a technical data sheet you can download. One little thing I'll point out, handbrake is on the right hand side. On the Evo 10, the handbrake's on the left hand side. It's not a lot, but it actually, from a right hand drive car, it's actually a little bit annoying having the handbrake a little bit further away. Just a small thing. Pedals are not that much different. The rest of the gauges and everything else is similar. Obviously we've got the ACD control here for tarmac, gravel and snow, and again very similar in the Evo 10.